I'm Tati and I'm here to bring you RP Chatter. Except this week we are doing a slightly different format. We're going to deviate a little bit here because nobody's really been updating, so unless I want to make up my own interesting stories, which could be fun, I thought, no, I better find something else to talk about. So, hopefully you'll keep watching, and hopefully it will maybe get some people thinking and get some stuff happening. Alright, so let's get started. So, every few months or so, it seems we go through this whole, oh my god, there's no RP, drama, 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 1, you know, and there's always people who come back with, no, there's RP, you just have to know where to find it, or my favorite is, there's RP, but it's only cliquey. I'm like, you know, we don't have to be bitchy about it. So, people like to RP with their friends. That's okay. You know, we have to be okay with that. However, I know how it can be frustrating when you're like, I can't find anyone to RP with, or I don't know where to start, or whatever. You know, there's all this different stuff. And I think that, you know, it's one part, yes, you have to know where to look, and one part, people have to be less shy, because that seems to be what it boils down to, is people who keep telling me, well, I don't want to intrude, or, you know, I don't want to assume they'll RP with me, or, you know, it's like, you know what, if you want to RP, you got to get out there and do it. So, let's talk about that for a little bit. You know, I started the writing challenges 5 years ago, mostly because I wanted to get people writing, because I was like, if people are writing, they'll be thinking more about their RP, and they'll get out there and they'll do it. And, you know, it had a good run, but I think it's started to die a little bit because the community has changed and our needs have changed. A lot more people are writing now, which is great. But what I think now that we're having a problem with is people interacting with those stories, people commenting, people giving feedback, and people thinking about what that story means. Those of you who are on my real Facebook have heard me rant about this before, so you know, you know my thoughts on this. But I think that we need the commenters, we need the discussion just as much as we need the writing. So, you know, you look at the stories that are out there that people have been posting, and, you know, it's been great to see so many stories. And, you know, kudos to everybody who did my challenge last week, because that was probably a little difficult, so good job. But, you know, you see a story, and you're like, wow, that's really interesting, and I wish I could have some RP like that, or I wish, you know, whatever, I could be involved in something. You know, it's like, you have to take it to the next step. You have to step forward and ask the writer. You know, you have to say, hey, I really enjoyed your story. I really liked where you were going with this. I liked the idea you have. Can I work with you on this? Can we RP it out? Can I somehow be involved? You know, and you have to be prepared for people to say, no, it's kind of personal or whatever, but I don't think that's going to happen very often. You know, I think most people will say, yeah, it'll be great. For example, you know, the stories I've been writing, they're all started because of something that Silveria wrote. You know, she wrote a story, and I was like, this is interesting. This could be a cool plot twist. This could get some people excited. I want to be somehow involved in this. So I sent her a PM, and I said, hey, this is what I'm thinking. Are you okay with it? You know, what do you think? And she was really excited. She was like, yeah, I was hoping someone would do something. It'd be great to see it, blah, blah. So, you know, we started planning, talking back and forth, and we planned a bunch of stuff, and then I started writing. And because of one little 100-word challenge she did, I've written a bunch of stories, which has gotten several people in my guild involved, and also gotten people in another guild involved. And it's like, the RP is dominoing, you know, and that's what you need to do. You need to take that step and say, hey, I want a piece of this action. How can I get involved? So, you know, that's the first step right there, is you got to start talking to people. You got to say, hey, I want this. RP, when it's organic, it's really great and it just happens, but RP is a lot of work. You have to get out there and you have to say, I want to be involved. I'm going to have to go out there and I'm going to have to do something to be noticed. I'm going to have to start emoting or start just talking to random people or talking to people on Facebook or the forums and say, hey, I want to do this. Does anyone want to be involved? You need to do that. So next time you're thinking to yourself, there's no role-playing happening, I'm bored, or what am I going to do? You know, read someone's story. See if you get inspired. See if you can somehow think of a way to get your character involved in that. Or, you know, if you can't, say, okay, this person wrote this story, it's kind of neat. What would my character do if they were in the situation? And just start thinking it through and start thinking and letting thoughts happen, you know, because it's a creative process. You've got to give it time to kind of do its thing. And then get in game and start looking around for people and try. Sometimes you have to force it a little bit. The RP does not just come to you. It's not like this magic magnetic field. You have to go out there and you have to make it happen. There are days where I sit there and I'm like, oh wow, there's no one around. I'm bored, whatever. And it's like, you know what? Go to a city, drop my picnic basket, sit down, and within 5 minutes, I've usually got someone talking to me, Or, go hang out by the auction house or the mailbox and just, start emoting at people, nodding respectfully to someone as they check their mail. If you're standing at a mailbox, like one of those big ones that happen in apartments, you're going to smile to your neighbor, you're going to say hi to them. It could create something, you don't know, and so that's really the point, is you got to put the effort in. You can't just sit there and expect that people are going to show up on your doorstep and bring you lovely gifts of RP and be like, here, I brought this plot line to you. Let's do it. You gotta work for it. So get out there and interact. Get out there and start commenting on people's work. Start discussion, because if we're not talking to each other, if we're not building something together and working together, then nothing's gonna happen. So maybe it made you think. Maybe you said to yourself, you know what? You're right. Tati's right. I've got to get out there and do something. I can't just sit here and sulk. I've got to try. We're losing a lot of people to Rift. We're losing a lot of people to boredom. Because as a community, we're not mingling. We're not interacting. It's great to have something with your guild or with your group of friends, but I know there comes a point where you're kind of like, we've kind of done this all to death. What else is out there? And you got to start exploring your options and getting out there and talking to strangers. I have met some really great people who were just total randoms. I was just standing by a mailbox and started talking to some guy, and had a lot of fun. That's how I met Talkish, who introduced me to Dotson, and now look at us. So you got to try. You can't be shy. You can't be afraid. I had so many people who say, well, I play a shy character, so I don't want to do it. I'm like, you know what? If you're gonna play a shy character, then you've got to prepare to put even more effort in. You've got to be prepared to send a whisper to someone and say, hey, my character is kind of shy. I would like to RP with you. This is what they would do. Would you react to it? If I'm just shyly reading a book or playing with something or whatever. You've got to have some sort of crazy amount of emotes to make you interesting. Because if you're just standing there, some guy just standing there, I'm like, oh, he's AFK, whatever, and I'm just gonna keep walking. So, the challenge for this week is get out there and start talking to strangers. Don't be afraid. Don't be shy. Try something, and if you have, a twisted, crazy character who is hard to interact with, well, you got to learn how to work with that. You got to learn to take that to a weird level and do what you can to get your RP, so you play an asshole. Then go out there and be an asshole and see if you get any reaction. You can always send a whisper, say, hey, I'm just RPing. This is just how my character is. No offense, or whatever, and then people will be like, oh, okay, you're just being crazy. Okay, cool. This is how we would react to it. So there you go. Hope you're all still watching and aren't all going blah, 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 blah.